Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special, not a casual stroll stream. We're here today to do a little bit of a hide and seek fun event here on the Mordor preview server. For those of you unfamiliar, Mordor is going to be our first official European based server. It's going to be a VIP legendary server. But for now, we want to test it. It's one of the first new environments that we're going to be doing our 64-bit server on. And we've just been wanting to hammer on it these last few weeks to make sure it's in ship shape for us to go with it. Mordor is kind of the first big jump into non-US servers for us, and our first big jump into 64. So it does make sense for us to try to get as much testing in. We know earlier Vastin was and probably still is bouncing around the world, dropping ring rates on everyone to test out the ring wraith event that comes with these legendary servers, both Mordor and Angmar. Angmar is the United States-based analog of for this event, and Mordor is our European side. So for us today, I just wanted to get you guys in exploring around the world and see if you can find me. We're going to start out somewhat easy, and then see if we can go up from there. You'll notice right now, currently, I don't have a game screen running. So how we're going to do this is once I've gotten myself to the location that I want you guys to come find me at, I'll reveal where I am. We're going to start out somewhat easy, and then yeah, come on over, meet up with me there, and I'll bring some friends. So yeah, let me just do one thing real quick before I reveal my location. And so for those of you that are just joining in the server, all of these locations are going to be in Eriador, specifically in mostly in the original launch of the game, but as well as some of the regions leading up to Moria. So nothing that we're going to ask you to come find me in is outside of that. You can go to the Isengard's Tavern once you've created a character and level yourself up to level 50 and get geared up. And then come and try to find me. I promise that at the very least, the Defeat Circle will remember you after we're all done with this. All right. One of the other things I'm going to be doing too, as I'm waiting for folks to show up to where I've been hiding, I'm just going to hang out, chat with you all, and do a little bit of Q&A. As usual, my Q&A is going to be focused on world design stuff, so I'm not going to be able to talk about much in regards to things like balance, PvMP, the more technical aspects of lag fixes, those sorts of things. But if you have questions about housing, what goes into world design, what goes into the research that we put into building the world, feel free to ask me. So, let us get things going. Let me get over here. All right, you ready? This is the layup. This is the easy one. And where is it? That's what I need to hide. Whoop. All right. Who can come find me? And while I'm doing that, I'll keep an eye on the chat. Lost Hobbit says, I wonder who his friends are. I've got an assortment of friends, some that you will be more than familiar with through the history of the game. So yeah, if you think you know where I am, come on over. See if you can find me. Hopefully everyone's been having a good time here on Mordor thus far, at least. I think this is an exciting thing for us. This is my first time connecting to this server, so I'm also getting a sense for how the performance of it is. We've got people on our engineering team who are going to be checking in on Mordor on occasion as well, and see how performance is running through all of this between the events that we're running here right now, with the Ring Wraith event as well. So yeah. Sino TV says, will the post level 50 zones be open on the new servers? I mean, is it possible to visit them even though there might not be any quests? So, for those of you that are unfamiliar with what legendary servers are, most of them have been what are called progression servers. So, we have a series of staged level caps that will take a player from that will, over the course of the server, will take a player from 0 to 150, but there will be kind of stop points along the way to basically allow the community to kind of get to a level cap and be able to experience the level cap content for those for that level break. So, for example, in a classic legendary server, like the original ones that we launched, Honor, and I forget the name of the other one. Um, but the way that server worked is at the launch of it, the cap was at level 50, and then I think we were running it 3 to 4 months. Every 3 to 4 months, we would unlock the next level cap. And these level caps are based off of the historic level caps that we've set in the game before. Um, so the first level cap is, oh, and hey, we've got some people here. So I'll continue that thought now that we've got some people here. And, oh, all right. So people are here looking around. Gonna wave. And then, let's bring some friends. How do we like those friends? Are they very friendly friends? So I will continue my conversation and explanation of what a legendary server is once I've kind of moved on to the next area and are waiting for people to find me. So you all found the first one. That was nice and easy. We're going to go a little bit harder, or maybe not too hard, for the second one. I'm also treating this as kind of a greatest hits of Lord of the Rings. So hopefully some of these places are very familiar to all of you. All right, here we are at our next location. If you think you can get here, get here. We'll bring some more friendly friends. So now, while I'm waiting, I'll continue the conversation about what our legendary servers are. So the legendary servers, they progress over time, usually 3 to 4 months, though different rule sets can vary. We had 2 legendary servers. One was Shadowfax and one was Treebeard. The Shadowfax server was an accelerated progression server, so very quickly it progressed from one level cap to the next, whereas Treebeard is a much slower one. Both player advancement is slowed down, but also the rate at which the new caps are introduced is slowed down. And the way we kind of manage this is the game world itself is kind of set up with areas flagged based off of the level cap that they exist in. Any area that is not flagged as that current level cap or below, if a player walks into it, they will get a warning telling them that they're entering a restricted area. And if they don't heed that warning, they'll then get kicked out, I believe, to their starting defeat location, maybe, or whatever milestone 1 is for them. So that's what happens in these servers. In addition to kind of this community-based approach, where we want to give everyone kind of these opportunities to play at the old caps. Another thing that we do with the legendary servers is there are often rewards associated with participating in them, reaching certain caps and whatnot. So you'll be able to get account-wide titles, account-wide cosmetics. Oh, we got people here already. Hello to the people that just arrived. So this one was a gimme. This was easy. We went from Weathertop. We're now in, and I'll give some spoilers, we're now in the Blood Swamp. So I suppose I should bring some friends in to this as well. So my friends are very excited to see you. I'm really sad that I couldn't get a good combat Sarah Oakhart. I was hoping that she'd be able to drop in and party wipe everyone. All right. Next up, let's go here. And someone's claiming things are too easy. I forgot to hide this, so. You know where, you know the region and the area that I'm in on this one, because I forgot to hide my teleport. Um, so let's see if people can get here. Wherever here is. So going down through, let's see. So I think hopefully, Sino, that answered your question about what legendary servers are. I don't know what has been announced specifically in regards to the progressions for Angmar and Mordor. Right now, what we have going on here on the Mordor test is a level 50 cap. Some of that is because we do want to test how the Ring Wraith event works at these lower levels. But I don't know if we're planning on level 50 being the initial cap for this, and if it is, how long it's going to be. But that is something that you'll want to keep an eye out for when we have official details about these servers when they go from being a test space into a live production space. Sino also says, just want to throw in that I love the game to death and have so much respect for everything you guys have done. I think, a lot of times there is, talk about um, working on a project like this really being a labor of love. And I think a lot of the people that are working on this project are working on this project because they do have, a great love for it. They do really, really, really enjoy working with the IP, enjoy working, in the settings that we've created, working with the people that we've been working with. Like a lot of us have been working together for a very long time now, and I think we've created something that really has a is really enduring, um, and that's something that's really special, especially when you see games that kind of and not even just MMOs, but when you see games that just like start up and then fall down so quickly, um, it's nice to be able to be a part of a project that has so much history to it that you can hear families talking about their experiences with, where they've um, you know they might have grown up playing the game, or were at an age where it's like they were in high school and college when they started playing, and now they're able to introduce their spouse to it, or they're able to introduce their kids to it. Hearing stories about you know, parents and children playing together. It's really it's the kind of experience that often doesn't come with games that are newer, and it's something that takes time for a game to develop that kind of um, social existence. Uh, so let's see what else is going on in chat while waiting for people to show up. It is getting dark now in the game world, so this is going to make it probably a little bit harder. I hope that in my camera view there's at least a little bit of a hint about where I am. And sorry, I have a little bit of allergy is kicking in as well, so that's fun. So Lyron asks, once the Mordor server progresses to the stage of the current level cap, what does that mean for the continuation of the server? And does it eventually close like previous legendary servers? Thanks. I think uh, Severlin is working on figuring out um, what the extended life of Mordor is going to be. What happens when we hit that cap? I'm not sure that if we announced anything on it. Um, in the past, once a legendary server has hit its cap, there's been an opportunity for people to transfer their characters off of that server. Like once the duration, I shouldn't even say cap, because once the duration of that server has been met, because we've had some other servers with different rule sets. Um, so once that duration has been met, then like usually there's an opportunity to transfer off it. I'm not sure, considering the uniqueness of Mordor, if that'll mean it turns into a normal server, if uh, Mordor changes into something else. I don't have that answer for you. That's something that I would encourage asking next time that Cordovan and Severlin have a conversation on a stream. Um, so we'll go through some more of these questions while we're waiting for people to show up. Maybe I should move down the hill a little bit. I wonder if that'll make it a little bit easier for people to know where I am. This is one of my favorite This is one of my favorite regions that I've built in recent memory, Swanfleet. And honestly, like it's one of those. Whenever I'm building something new, I have a hard time feeling like the next thing I build is gonna be better than Swanfleet. Um, so we'll see. Gunthor says, "Hello. Any plans to update the graphics on the game engine in the future?" So a couple years ago there was kind of something that got out into a shareholder update, basically talking about a Lord of the Rings graphics overhaul. And I think over time, as we and Daybreak kind of looked at things, it didn't really make sense financially to do all of that work. I believe Severlin talked a little bit about that. But I will say that we are committed to continuing to find ways where we can to improve the fidelity of the game visually. It can be tricky to do that on an engine as old as this, and is going to require some creative thinking and a bunch of elbow grease to make it happen. I think what you see with what we're doing on our landscape design is far and away better now than if you look at what we've done in the original game, and even in some of the regions that we like spruced up a bit as to coincide with the launch of the legendary servers. We're always looking for ways to both kind of speed up our ability to produce things and increase the fidelity with which we can produce them. Some of that is using tools to help us create landscapes that look more realistic. For me, a lot of my attention has been focusing on finding methods to sort of help remove some of the hurdles, I guess, to quickly creating things. So for example, whenever we build a landscape, we often have to do a lot of hand painting to get things started. We have to put that big base coat, and if we're building big regions, doing that big base coat can take a while. So one of the things that I've been thinking about is like, is there a process that I can come up with that would allow us to use other tools, like for example, taking World Machine, which is what we've used before now, bringing our height map in it, and using World Machine to output um, images that are grayscale images that kind of indicate what slope the terrain is, and then associate those images with terrain types and kind of cut them up into little pieces so that it works with our game data. So it's that sort of thing that I'm looking towards to try to improve what the fidelity of our landscape and painting and whatnot looks like. We have the other people that are focused on working on new shader technology to introduce new special effects and whatnot into the game. Let me just look around a little bit more. So I think we're always looking for new ways to do things, new ways to improve the game, visually, gameplay wise, performance wise. And those things take time, especially since this isn't a new game. And as we're starting to do those things, we're starting to think about those things. We have to take into consideration the impact that making what might seem like small changes can have on a variety of systems throughout the game. So hopefully that answered that question. So Schmooze asks what the level cap at launch was going to be and the timing for new releases. I don't have that information handy. I feel like we're kind of leaning towards 50 being the first cap, but as far as timing goes, I couldn't answer that question for you. We've certainly had some internal conversations based off of like, okay, player feedback on this legendary server for these level caps was like, this was too long, this was too short. So I think we're gonna try to think of it more in lines of like what makes sense for the duration of any given cap, as opposed to having each one kind of be a regimented set time. But again, I would encourage anyone with those kinds of questions to pay attention to the message boards and whatnot to see if they can find that information when it becomes available. It should be posted on the message boards, on social media. Oh, hey, we have our first person on social medias, as well as eventually like on the Discord as well. All right, hey, we've got people. All right. All right, I think we should bring some friends in here as well. Some people were saying that my last friends were pushovers. So let's do these friends. And for those of you that were curious, hold on, where am I? Those of you that were, I was stuck in something, that were curious about where we were, we are here in Swanfleet. I have a little hidden hobbit hole that I dropped in there when I was building the region. That is one of my favorite little places to hide out and hang out. All right. I guess I needed to do more spiders, huh? All right, let's go on to our next hiding spots. And I spoiled it again. Ah, well. I gotta remember to hide that because the billboards, they just. All right. Well, next tidy spot. Come and find me, everyone. And while I'm waiting for folks to show up, let's go down through here and let's see what other questions there are. Lost Shirehalva asks, "What is your favorite zone pre-Moria? Why, and were you involved in building it?" I think you know. I think my favorite zone to build. I really enjoyed building um, Eregion because Eregion had this kind of rugged yet very natural looking look to it, and it represents one of the first kind of areas where we were experimenting a bit more with what impassables really were. I think up until Foreshell, really, all of our impassables were either really, really steep mountains or weird fish bully kind of things that just kind of were a remnant of styles of game gone past. And I think Eregion, Foreshell, those represented kind of a new approach, a new thought process um, behind those areas. So I really enjoyed working on it. I also one of the things that I really liked about Eregion is it was another of us continuing to experiment with um, using outside tools to help um, create more realistic looking landscapes. So we've been using an application called World Machine for years now, to varying degrees. We used to have a role on the team that we called our world artist. So I'm a world designer, and then we had someone who was a world artist, and kind of their role as world artist was to sit down and do kind of more art creation to sell the look and feel of a space as opposed to design to sell the look and feel of the place. And what we do is um, very related to art, but most of us on our world team, anyways, are not production artists ourselves. Um, I often like to think of us as we are not the gardeners that grow everything that is used in landscaping, but we are the landscapers that put it all into place and make it look pretty. Um, so with Eregion, a lot of the terrain that was there was using the world machine process. Oh, hey, we have one person. I don't know if we're gonna have anyone else. This is one of my another one of my happy sneaky spots. Um, all right, well maybe it's just the two of us to hang out with the friends here. How about that? How about since you're already here, we might as well bring some friends to the party. Let's do. Well, it looks like we have some friends from Uragarth visiting now. So yeah, well, while this chaos ensues, um, oh, well, hopefully someone else will come and visit my friends here. So I'm going to hang out here for a little bit and see if anyone else wants to come hang out with my friends. In the meantime, I'll continue on through these questions. Um, let's see. Regarding server closure, so one person, so Sino says, for me, an increase in the LOD distance would be incredible. The game looks great in my eyes. That's something that I actually very recently brought up. Um, we had another person, another couple of people. Um, one of the things that I would really love to do is, um, at the very least, increase the fidelity of the terrain at a distance. Um, we actually had some engineering work done a while ago where you could extend the full terrain resolution out by a little bit, and we have not tested it yet to make sure that it's worked and there's no like considerable unforeseen issues. But we do want to find ways to do that. So it's certainly something that we're aware of and are interested in doing. Oh yeah, and drink. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. So Gunther says, thank you for answering regarding graphics. The main thing for me right now is considering if I want to invest time and money in Lotro, and if it will see graphic updates in the future compared to other MMOs. I love the lore, but something is scratching my head when I play the current graphics. I think we all realize and understand that this is a 17-year-old game, and with that comes 17-year-old graphics. Like I said, we're doing our best to make the most of this based off of what we have available and what we can do ourselves. Oh, it looks like there's some wraiths that showed up too. That's fun. All right, so this time I'm actually going to hide myself so that you won't be able to see where I'm going. All right. Let's wait for the billboard to go away and all right. And we are back. Um, so let's see, where was I? Yeah, so I think one of the things, and this is just talking art direction in general, one of the things that a lot of games struggle with the older they get is sometimes graphics just don't hold up. Like you push realism too much, and when a new generation hits or a new method of creating asset hits, what you end up with doesn't look as good as it used to. Like there are so many games out there that like 15 years ago came out, looked brilliant, state of the art, looked amazing. 5 years after that, they don't look that great. They don't hold up that great. I think Lord of the Rings does not have a super stylized look to it, but I think we have enough of a look to it that um, a lot of what we do looks fine, looks good for what it is, and where we're lacking, where we're lagging, we can try to make up for over time as we work on the game. Druid's Fire says, "Hey, no fair putting Orion, the constellation, on stream if he's not there." That said, tomorrow Orion and I will be um, sitting in for Court of the Rings in our first show that we are tentatively calling "They Have a Cave Troll." Um, or we have a cave troll. I think it was we have a cave troll. So we're going to be hanging out, chatting, and just in general, taking Q&A and having a bit of the game going in the background while we do that. So let's see. Scrolling down through. Uh, so to Sergeant Major Fish's question about money offered for a graphics update, that's news to me. That's not something I had ever heard about. Um, Serapho says, is this a server stress test or a hide and seek event or both, which seems counterproductive? It is both. So we are trying to put this server through its paces. We want people to come here, move around. There are basically two events going on right now. We have the Ring Wraith event going on, which if you are in game, you can see some world broadcasts about that. There's one that just came up that says one of the 9 has fallen in battle. So there's that event, and that's being hosted by one of our systems designers, Vastin. The other is my hide and seek event, and they're both kind of two different aims. Then the Ring Wraith event that's running right now is in part to test kind of what happens when we get a critical mass of people all in one spot doing one thing. And my event is to see what happens when we get people spread out around all over the place. Get people running around, get people loading things, unloading things, that sort of thing, and have a little bit of fun along the way while we're doing it. I think we were a little bit delayed compared to what we were expecting, just because we were having some server bouncing that we needed to do. We did want to wipe the player database so that we could start fresh and make sure that only level 50 characters were on the server. But now we're kind of running with this now. I don't know how much longer Vastin is planning on running his, but we thought it would be fun to just get a chance to pop in, chat, hang out, and see what everyone's knowledge of the world of Lotro is. I'm hoping that this space that I found here is obscure enough to be a little challenging for people. Green Tea asks, would you consider doing some making of streams where you show us how you go about creating some small piece of the world? So it's a little challenging to do a making of stream, in large part because often I bounce around doing a lot of different things. I'll be doing some terrain painting here, and then I'll need to like step out of that and make some variants of an asset or make a a new texture. So I bounce around a lot when I'm working on a space. So it's really hard to make a making of stream that also feels substantive, because like if I'm only doing an hour stream, I could honestly spend that whole hour like painting down terrain textures around a farmhouse and getting some like it's very easy to either be all over the place or be hyper focused, and I don't feel like either of those is really that satisfying of a stream, especially if I'm like trying to focus on that stuff and also trying to have a conversation with you all at the same time. What's more likely is kind of a bit more of a presentation. If we were to ever do something like that, it would be a bit more of kind of a presentation of here are the steps of how we make a region, how we start and kind of show kind of the stages of production. We're always taking screenshots of what we're working on, sharing it within group chats. So we have a lot of that kind of stuff available so that you can, watch and see the progression of an area. But actually like sitting down and building something, but at least building the landscape, I don't think would be a particularly satisfying stream. If we were working on a dungeon space, that might be a little bit more compelling because that's a little bit more of a discrete chunk kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily require you to like bounce out of our world builder tools to work on a new asset or to do a little bit more of a technical development thing that doesn't show well. It's stuff we've talked about. I think we're just trying to figure out the right way to present it. Um, all right, I'll just cloak off. Um, I do like the hood cosmetics that we just recently released. Those are really, really nice. Um, so let's go down through the chat a little bit more while waiting for people to show up. I hope this isn't too hard. Um, I might have to turn the camera a little bit more to give a little bit more of a view, but Sergeant Major Fish says, "Are you doing this server test tomorrow? I'm going to go to work. I'm in the U.S." So right now, this event, what I'm doing right now, anyways, is only for today. I'm not sure how many more testing sessions that we're going to do for the Mordor server. Um, the most important thing for us is, making sure that the hardware and connectivity to this server for our European connecting players is, great. We want this server to be, we want Mordor specifically to be a great experience for the European players that we hope will connect to it. And we also want to make sure that the 64-bit stuff that we're working on, the 64-bit server, and what goes into making that work for this game, works well for both Mordor and Angmar. So yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to be doing Angmar server tests at some point soon too, but that's a case of wait for announcements and see. Let's see. So Sergeant Major Fish says the biggest issue is interior maps in places like the Old Forest, west of Bree. The map is pretty much useless. Moria is a nightmare because of no third dimension, and the map doesn't show hallways. So that's part of why we've moved away from kind of the hand-drawn maps to ones that are radar representative maps. It just more accurately reflects the space that we're in. Places like the Old Forest, the challenge with that is the Old Forest is supposed to be mysterious, difficult to navigate. And we have to strike that balance of how helpful is the map versus how close do we stay to the flavor of the area. Most of I don't, let me see what the state of so this Old Forest map is an old style map. And by and large, it's actually where you can see the paths through is pretty accurate. There might be a few blocked areas here and there. If we were to switch this over to the kind of new style map that we've been working with, the tricky thing about that, and I might have spoiled where I was by opening that map, now that I think about it. But it's been a while. I might need to change where my character is positioned a little bit too. About there. So we could, there would be some work we would need to do in order to kind of change some of the tree assets, honestly, so that they produce a map that reflects the space but also doesn't give things away too much. With the Moria map, I think the Moria map, there is, as far as Moria goes, we tried to imply the concept of a 3D space that you're going up and down between sandwich layers. But in reality, the further north you are, the higher up you are, and the further south you are, the lower you are. And it would be great to have those maps reflect all the tunnels and hallways. And eventually we'll probably get to updating them to the new style of map. Um, but in the meantime, if you can kind of keep that in mind when you're running around Moria, that you're not actually going above or below, and so there's not really a need for that 3D element for those maps, anyways. Let's see. Scrolling down, scrolling down. Let's see if there's anything else I can answer. All right. Well, I've gotten to the bottom of everything, and no one is here yet. I didn't realize this was going to be such a hard place to find. And what about all the friends that I was going to bring? You know, I brought some friends from the Great Barrow. I brought some friends from Gartha Garwin. I brought some friends from just spiders in general, and I brought some friends from Urgarth. I don't know what friends I should bring next. Let's see, who did I invite? Um, yeah, I think I'll invite these friends next. But I can't invite any friends until we have other people here to hang out. Otherwise, it's not going to be that great of a party. All right. Two obscure places. I mean, that's all about obscurity here. Hey, friend, we have friends. All I had to do was turn around. All right. So, new friends that just came by. Are you ready to meet the friends that I'm bringing to the party? How about we do a cheer if you're ready for my friends to show up? I brought my friends from Carndoom. I mean, Mordor was always a pushover. Oh, I'm hearing thunder rolling in above too. That has nothing to do with the game itself, but I do apologize if a big storm rolls in and I lose power. Hopefully, I won't. But all right, time for my next location. Um, how about we go here? All right. You all ready to see where I'm at next? And three, two, one. All right. Here we are at our next spot. Hopefully this might be a bit of a gimme, but who knows? So there's been some conversation about the different maps and whatnot, and some people kind of requesting that the old ones be an option, a toggle. And I think that's also something that we've talked about internally as well, is making those available as a toggle. The tricky thing with that though is if the map, when we update it, its location positional information has changed any, that would mean that we'd also have to redo the old map in the old style. And you know, the artists that worked on those maps aren't here anymore, so it's hard to, I would say, like recapture that style. Um, Not to say that we wouldn't ever offer them up, but I am just saying that it might be something that would require a little bit more work than just having it be a toggle. One person said it's tricky to find you when it's nighttime. Noodle Fried, where was that? Somewhere along the Brandywine. It was. It was a stretch of the river between Sarn Ford and Buckland. There is a little dock, and that is the entrance to the actual physical entrance to the Woe of the Willow instance. Um, I was really, really excited. I really enjoyed. Oh, hey, we have someone here. All right. I really enjoyed making that instance, doing the world building for it. Um, and I like to just it's one of those things that was really satisfying to me to like connect. Here, let's go up here. I think we're gonna have a good dance party right up here, next to this poor person. This person is not having a good time, but I think we'll all have a great time when. Let's see. It's really interesting seeing like what we're seeing as we're going through this is um, a lot of bosses without the context of the other mechanics, the scripting that goes into those fights. So it's a lot of these bosses just fold without those extra mechanics to them. All right. Well, you found me pretty quickly. So I guess I got to go to one of the more difficult spots. So let's see. What do I have? What do I have? Um, this might be a fun spot to go. All right. And we are back. Oops. Let's turn that back on. There we go. All right. Let's see if you can find me here. Have a couple of people in our work chats asking where screenshots for certain areas are. So let me, while I'm waiting for you all to come find me, let me see if I can't find that screenshot that Orion actually was asking for. There it is. Alrighty. Um, by all means, if you have guesses for where you think I'm hiding, feel free. If you think that'll help people get here. But I feel like someone already made it here. And there we go. Hello, Alpha Cell. You made it. You made it here first. That means you get to hang out with me and my friends. I think why don't we party down here? Um, This might be the... Oh, and now we have other people here too. Awesome. All right. You guys ready for my friends to show up? Let's... All right. Looks like we've got a good group. Who's ready to party? All right. You said a hard one, but it's easy. I don't know. I think this one's the hard one. Oh, and drink. All right. Oh, Tharlatch is down. And we have a wraith show up too. I feel like Vastin's following me around now. I'm honestly surprised that Amir is the last one standing of the Rift of Nuzgashu friends. Yeah, you guys have the Forsaken Reaver to deal with too. All right. Well, while that chaos ensues, I'm gonna head off to the next hiding spot. Um, but by all means, have fun fighting the Forsaken Reaver and all of his shadowy friends. All right. All right. All right. And I just need to do one other thing before I reveal where I'm hiding. boom, and boom. All right. And now we will decook. Alrighty, we're in our next spot. So let's see if you all know where I'm hiding. This was a cool area to build, and then to subsequently revamp after the fact as well. All right, so while I'm waiting, and while you are all dealing with the Ringwraith and Delisad, um, we're on to our next hiding spot. All right. So, Sino TV says, to avoid everything being a pushover, will there be any sort of scaling or changes to dungeons and raids on the new servers? I don't know how to answer that specifically. There are some um, being in a test server like this, where you are basically a superpowered avatar, doesn't really help all that much. Um, when you're actually in the space and interacting with the content, with the level and gearing that you're kind of expected to have, it makes it a different experience. Um, I am not saying this is any sort of indictment on the current balance of those spaces at the caps that they are intended for. I'm just saying that if you roll into you're rolling into this event, for example, and you're like, oh, like that Urgarth bunch was a pushover. Part of that's because like you're on a super tuned, um, you're on a super tuned character in this space, and things are just going to fall down for you. Oh, hey, there goes a Moraval. Um, All right. How about reward track at start? I think, and Orion can kind of speak more to this uh, in sessions that he's involved in. But I think like we look at something like the reward track, and we do think there's a lot of opportunity um, to do other things with that system beyond what it currently is. Right now, it exists as a um, fuel for the legendary item system, and I think that helps the legendary item system. Particularly helped it when the new revamped system launches or launched. But I think that there are other things that we can do with it now. There are other applications for it, and so that is something that I think some of us would like to investigate. Not saying when that'll happen, if that'll happen, but it is certainly saying that you can kind of look at the system and see where there are other opportunities for it. All right, who wants to dance? Let's and there we go. We'll just add a little bit of Bogbarith chaos to all of this. Wanted to break out the greatest hits of our spiders from Lord of the Rings, at least Eriador history, and I think I nailed on some of the well known things, and also you all made the mistake earlier of telling me how easily you defeated the spiders, so decided they needed to be harder. So hopefully this will give you a little something to chew on. as you all finish up your spider time, I am going to head to the next area. Um, I remember when I was working on Asheron's Call, I absolutely loved doing the live events for Asheron's Call. They were a ton of fun. They were um, a great engagement opportunity. Um, I think they just gave people something to do with their time, and it was a lot of fun for like me to log into the servers at like 3 a.m. and drop a bunch of enemies down, and I think it's something that helped make the game world feel a little bit more alive. So something like this is a lot of fun. It's a little bit harder to do on a live world where these sorts of things do have um, greater ramifications. And we're on to our next spot. And so we have to think about these kinds of events a little bit more carefully when introducing them. Uh, but uh, but yeah, I think these sorts of things are fun, and it's nice to have the opportunity to do something like this with you all as we're testing the server. It's a little bit of fun. It has a little bit of practical purpose for us. I'm hoping that the engineers that are carefully watching the server are enjoying what they're seeing as well. So Loshire Hobbit says unlocking memories with scenario and friends, um, and bringing that up, it is something that I think the stream, the podcasty kind of stream that Orion and I are going to be. We're taking over for Court of the Rings tomorrow, since Court is out for the day, and then going forward, we want to have a regular stream where that's kind of that's kind of what we want to do. Like we want to talk about the things we've worked on before, the things we're working on now, how our past experiences have kind of shaped Lord of the Rings, both when we were launching Lord of the Rings, how our past experiences with other products shaped those things, and then also um, how our experience launching the game and how we built the game then has changed how we do things now. So I think we do want to kind of lean into that sort of stuff because he and I have both been working on between Asheron's Call and Lord of the Rings, like we've been working together for nearly 20 years now, and that's something. That's like there's a lot of info there. All right. Hello, everyone. I see you found me at the Burnt Tor. I'm glad you could join me. So I have a very special set of friends to bring along to this dance party. Friends that are associated with what's going on with the Ring Wraith event, but are not specifically technically um, what's going on with the Ring Wraith event. Um, they're actually visiting us from the far-flung past, and I've brought them here for you all to enjoy. Who's stepping up to bat first? So these are not the wraiths that are part of the Ring Wraith event, the Ring Wraith server event that Vastin has been working on. These are actually the Mordor besieged wraiths. These are landscape boss monsters that if you go to the Mordor besieged region, you get to combat them. Some of them are not as heavy hitters compared to others, but hopefully they give you all a run for your money. Druid's Fire, and holy heck, was that some thunder at your place? Yes, that was thunder. So my office, the windows are just storm windows, so they are not particularly well insulated. So a lot of the sound outside makes its way inside, including the thunder that was just rolling through a couple minutes ago. All right. So while you all are having fun with these guys, let's see if I can spice up. Let's see. I want you out. Bring. All right. I think I've suitably spiced up this event. This real quick. Oh, hey, you beat everyone. We got more people here? All right. Let's have some more fun. And I'm going to hide my screen so I can go to my next spot. We're probably going to have enough time for one or two more spots, depending on how quickly you all can find me. But I wanted to tweak one of my load files just a little bit and see if doing that gives the creatures there a little bit more tooth. And then I need to let's go here. So I've since moved away. I guess the question is, how are you all doing with the ring wraith friends? Are you doing all right? Are you doing okay? Oh, hey Ryan, I'm not sure what we're doing. What do you think we should talk about tomorrow? We've got the whole lunch hour to ourselves. Um, there are a lot of things we could talk about. But hopefully you've all sorted out that ring wraith issue on the burnt tour, and now we'll be able to come here and hang out with me at this spot. All right. Almost through all the different places that I wanted to go and check out today. I think there are a couple spots left, and if you all can get here in time, we'll be able to get to both of them. You know, Orion, that sounds like a great topic. How we got our start in games, and how how we started in games has changed compared to what we're doing now. Um, all right. Someone wants us to talk about crafting. I could talk about the fun of placing resource nodes all over the landscape. All right. Well, I encourage you all to ask questions here while I'm here. Don't let Orion derail you. I'm sure there are plenty of questions that you all have between this stream and tomorrow's stream that will fill it up no problem. So in between getting smacked around by ring wraiths, feel free to drop in any questions you have about world design. I'm happy to answer them. The region I'm in right now is another area where we're kind of prototypey world machine spaces. I think we still had the world artist working for our team then, and he actually, when we were preparing for the legendary server and we were doing a bunch of cleanup and whatnot, this region was one of the regions that I was going through, doing some touch ups here and there, cleaning up our terrain texture usage because we had a few terrain textures that, um, as I was like auditing them, I noticed that they were exactly the same terrain texture, all the properties on them exactly the same, and I couldn't understand why um, we had two terrain textures that were exactly the same. So as I was editing things, I was like, oh, well, maybe I can take this one and darken it a little bit so that I could treat that like, oh, hey, this is up against, a stream or a river, so it's a little bit darker and muddier looking. And when I did that, it revealed that the world artist that had originally worked on the space had made that separate one, so he could basically um, write you know how some people put like initials of their initials and their partner's initials and put it in a heart. He basically did that so he could write that sort of thing in invisible ink in the landscape, which was cute. I sent him a photo of it saying I found it, but had to get rid of it because we were cleaning things up. But it looks like we've got some people that have found where I am. I saw someone run by. Are there people still running by? Well, that's not a person. That is a worm or a salamander. Hello? Hello, person on a horse. Where are you? Oh, there's the person on a horse. Hello there. How are you doing? Are you ready for me to bring my friends, some souped up friends? The first encounter with them was, somewhat disappointing, but hopefully this will be much better, a much better experience, and will not they will not fall down quite as handedly as they did before. You think you can solo this, Iglismek? There we go. He could not. I don't know if you can hear right now. There's no thunder at the moment, but it is raining very heavily. Oh, hey, we had other people show up and subsequently fall down. Oh, who's wandering over there? Is that the? Yep, the Everseer off being antisocial. Oh, all right. Let's see if there's any more comments while we're watching people pick apart the raid stack. All right. Let's see. Thought I had seen a question on there, but I scrolled past it. Let's see. All right. World design. Is work being done on the next premium housing area? Severlin was a bit vague. Work is being done on it, but it is not the top priority work that we have. I think I've mentioned it before in some of my other streams that when it comes to working on housing areas, often housing areas are implementations of opportunity where we will work on them when we have the time and flexibility to do it. But usually, it is not something that we dedicate considerable cycles to when we're in the midst of kind of where we're at right now in an expansion pack development cycle. So um, I would say we want to get it done as soon as possible, but we have other priorities that we need to tackle first before we really dive back into working on it. The person that's been working on it, he's kind of been on it here and there over the last maybe 6 months or so, and I wouldn't be shocked if once we get through expansion pack development, if he kind of turns his eyes back towards it and works on it a little bit more. All right. Well, I'm gonna hide and head off to. I think this will be the last location that we go to. So let's make this good. Let's see. I think I want to go to. We've been there. We've been there. This is not the wildest, craziest location, but hopefully it will provide some nostalgia for people that make their way here. So let me unhide. All right. So hopefully you all can find me here. I'm going to set up something special just for this spot. Call this right, and this. And this. And this. Boom. What do I want to do? Do I want to bring that in? No, I'm going to do this. Right, and then save and copy and paste. All right. All right, so we're at our last location. Um, I'm sure this will be super easy one for those of you that are in the know and are familiar with the game. I think doing this at night, conveniently it was nighttime, but I think that did help make things a little bit more challenging. But there we go. So Eglinel asks, follow up regarding the housing question. Is this so? It's more of a 2025 thing, or is it a then this year thing? I would say unless we are able to do a lot of work really, really quickly on it, probably not for 2025. Um, I think housing neighborhoods are one of those things too that kind of benefit from us like building it and then just letting it sit and bake. Might be something where we open it up for testing purposes on things like bull roar, but don't make publicly available until we've had a few rounds on it. But yeah, I wouldn't put high hopes on it being a 2024 thing. It might be if we manage to make things work out great, but keep your expectations low, and you're probably better off thinking of it as a next year thing. Alrighty. Well, hopefully Tharlock has not been too much of a challenge. I see someone rolling up. You all found me. Good job. So I guess the question is uh, should we just try to solo this? What do you think? Do you want to try soloing this, or do you want to wait for some people to show up? Oh, we have another person here. All right, good enough. All right, let's get dancing. I brought all of the friends to the party. All of them. They're all here, minus the raid, the Rift friends, because they were busy partying and even dim. So now we're bringing just a bunch of friends from all over everywhere else. They stack up pretty well. I wish there was an easy way for me to get them to spread out a little bit, but now looks like they're making their way towards to Thorin's Hall. Hope you all can stop them. There we go. We'll add some fun here. All right. So this is the last space. So hopefully everyone has fun with this. I'm just loading everything up here. Maybe we'll bring back because it makes sense to bring a Balrog to this party. So we'll bring in our friend Tharlock as well, and then I think that does it really for our event tonight. Let's see, where are you? There you are. There he is. There's the big boy. All right. Well, I hope you all had fun today. I had a lot of fun playing hide and seek with everyone. It's awesome that people know this world that well that some people minus the accidental spoilers I dropped in a little bit earlier. It's awesome that some people are so familiar with the game that they have a really good sense of where where to find all of these different places. I think as the it's unfortunate that well, it is. I shouldn't say unfortunate, but being able to go beyond Eriador would have allowed me to go to a lot more obscure places. But I didn't want to be so obscure that it was too hard to find. Um, but I hope that everyone had a fun time hanging out, had a fun time running around the world. For those of you that are looking forward, that are VIPs or are considering VIP, I hope the Mordor server experience has gotten you excited for Mordor and Angmar. I hope that you guys are all excited about what's coming up for Update 41 with housing, not housing, with birding. Sorry, and other little surprises that are coming in along with 41. And I'm really looking forward to kind of getting the preview streams going for Update 42 for our expansion pack. Those will be starting not in August, but they will be starting sooner than I think any of us thought they would be. So, so yeah, keep an eye on those. That's going to be a lot of streams coming up over the next couple of months, and I think we're looking forward to showing off what we're working on. There's some really awesome new areas that we're producing in settings that we've never been to before, in styles of biomes that we've never done before. So all of these things we are very excited about. Who do we have here? Oh, it looks like we might have a Vastin hanging out in here too. Um, so I hope everyone's enjoying this lovely mess of nostalgia that is just stampeding towards everyone right now. Um, Thank you everyone for hanging out. Thank you for attending the stream. For those of you just connecting, we are in Ered Luin having the finale to Hide and Seek right now. So if you feel like coming in and throwing yourselves at all of the big bad beasties and monsters and terrors that the original game launch, the original 50 levels of the game have to offer, then I would say come on in, join the party, and hope you live to or hope you survive the experience. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for attending, and we'll see a bunch of you probably tomorrow at noon Eastern time for the joint stream between myself and Orion. So have a great afternoon, everyone. Thanks a lot, and have fun on Mordor.